Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode on Thinkers Unlimited. My colleague at Center for Sight, Ashish Jha, recommended me my next guest. So, without further ado, let me take this opportunity to welcome Rajesh Kumar. Rajesh is currently Vice President Marketing for UiPath India and South Asia. His career mirrors the evolution of the technology sector in Asia Pacific. For nearly 3 decades, he has led marketing, sales, operations, and strategy companies like SAP, Microsoft, Perfetti Van Melle, and Pernod Ricard. He also co-founded leadthink.org, a knowledge-based startup. Rajesh is a strong advocate of B2B marketing and is a regular speaker at industry marketing conferences. He sits on the APAC CMO Council Advisory Board, India Board of the Marketing Society, Board Advisor for BD Foundation, a non-profit fostering inclusion. He has been a member of CII National Marketing Committee India, chairperson of the Advisory Council for DMI Convention, and chairman World Bank Congress 2012-13. He was recognized with Innovation Leadership Award in Asia Pacific and Japan at SAP twice in a row, received Annual Return on Integration Honors Award 2020 by Forrester Sirius Decisions, and most recently announced the Economic Times Most Promising Tech Marketeers CMO of the Year 2021. Rajesh received his MBA from IIM Calcutta and degree in mechanical engineering from NIT Kurukshetra. He has also completed executive programs from Wharton, Harvard Business School, and Indian School of Business. Rajesh, the audience may like to know more about you from you too, so please share some insights about yourself.
Thank you, Prashant. I was actually born in a very small town in Himachal, and my father was teaching in a university, so I traveled, multiple places, kept changing schools and so on. And then I, landed up in engineering, worked a bit of time, then landed up with, postgrad in MBA, and after that I worked across multiple industries. I've actually started working in industrial automation, then I moved to alcohol industry, then I moved to fast moving consumer goods confectionery, then I jumped on to startup. And after that is when I really got on to tech and been with the companies you mentioned, large and small. And now I'm in this very interesting new field, which is called, automation. And of course, I'm a marketer, so I have interest in everything new. So I do a number of things. I'm generally a tinkerer. I love to travel. I enjoy, discovering new cuisines, food, and all types of art and aesthetics. In fact, I have my own food blog on Instagram. It's called, Home Chef on Weekend. So you can find some new things every week there. But pleasure, great to be on this show. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for sparing your time. So let's get this conversation started. So, how would you address to the layperson if he asked you what exactly is robotic process automation?
That's a good question, and robotic process automation in some ways came into being over last 5 to 7 years. If you see overall evolution of technology over last few decades, we came over the decade of PCs, having a computer on every desktop. We went to mobiles, mobile in every hand, and then internet happened, which connected everything and made everything so accessible and fundamentally changed the way we work, live, and do anything practically. I believe automation is the next wave, which is going to fundamentally change the way we work and live and do so many things and drive next phase of human growth and evolution. Simply put, robotic process automation is a way to simplify how we work, what we do. If you think of an average work day for any office worker or anybody, who's for want of any better word, knowledge worker, right? And today there are about 1.5 billion knowledge workers in the world population across the world, and about, and if you look at your average work day, uh, I would say anywhere between, say, 35, 40 to 60, 70% is repetitive work, you know. And if you're a typical knowledge worker, you prepare reports, you send emails, you read emails, you refer to multiple applications, you input data, you move data from one application to another, you process some information, and then you send out results to others, right? And so all of that work takes a lot of human energy and time, and it has kept on increasing. I mean, if you look at the evolution, we started with mainframes, we went then to desktop PCs, and we started with big applications which will simplify work or connect across the organization. Gradually, as cloud came, we started using multiple smaller, applications which were, in the cloud. So therefore, everybody used best of the breed. Now, irrespective which functions you are in, you possibly use a mix. You use one application for logging your expense claims, some application for filing your, maybe a leave application, something for processing your payroll, something for, maybe collating information, building dashboards, and so on and so forth. And some things maybe you still do on Excel, some things you get off the web. So all of these things take large amount of time from all of us in the day, and it's kept on increasing because work is becoming more complex, world is becoming more complex, and people are wanting to do essentially creative work, thoughtful work, where they can bring some innovation. But the weight of this work pulls all of our time down. I mean, you will identify. Sometimes I feel, I should do no email today. I should do no meeting today. I should just be able to cut off and think. And usually you don't find it's possible. So automation is an answer to that. It actually works and emulates human behavior on a computer. It can read the computer screen on your behalf. It works at a user interface layer. It can log in on your behalf. It can extract information. It can send that information to anybody else. It can read your emails and take out information. Your typical example, maybe your suppliers send you invoices end of the month and your mailbox is full. It can open all of those emails, read what is, their invoices are, pick up the detail from invoices, tally in your backend system with the purchase order, verify the details, and send information to bank to release checks to them. Now imagine those things will take away a lot of the effort from your side and release your time to think more, do more, whether you are a individual worker or you manage a team or you run your own business. It can give you a lot of the time back for higher order work. And that's how I see it is actually a bridge to next level of growth for individuals, teams, businesses, and I would argue overall humanity.
So if you look at automation, and what would be your insights that how is it transforming the way we work? And if you had a looking glass to look into, what future do you envision in the coming years in this sphere?
Yeah, see, if we step back and look at, and let me maybe first take a business hat and then I'll take a citizen hat and so on. Typically, as a business, whether it's a hospital or it's a any, say, company, large or small, you're always trying to see how you can serve your customers better, right? How can you run more efficiently, which means shorter cycles, quicker turnaround, lower costs, right? Third, I would say, given the complexity of the world today, geopolitical, technological, amount of data that you are dealing with, how do you manage any kind of risks and compliance with various regulatory requirements. Right? That has become essential, and healthcare is actually most regulated of them all. You cannot, not meet those norms. And lastly, I would say, how do you keep your employees happy and engaged? Because eventually it's people who make it work, right? And so automation today addresses all of these areas. And I'm happy to, show some of the, examples and, talk to you. And like I said before, if you take away what you are talking about, say, lot of the mundane process work at a very basic level and automate it, which I said is the 35 to 50%, you are suddenly releasing time. It's not that there is lack of work, but I think this work occupies what could have been used to think the next level, do the next layer of work, and so on. Once it releases, people go to the next level, and people start innovating more, start thinking of newer ways to, what they can do for customers or clients, how can they make better products, how can they service better, how can employees be engaged better, and so on and so forth. So that's sort of one sort of areas, and it works very well wherever they are more of knowledge work. Since I said it emulates work on computers, wherever there are large processes, you think of insurance industry, you think of healthcare industry. In healthcare, you can think of hospitals, you can think of pharmaceutical companies, you can think of various associated players like insurance providers, and so on and so forth, downstream and upstream. All of them very regulated, lot of processes, lot of paperwork, whether it is on computer or other work, if I can use that metaphorically. All of that can be addressed a lot more efficiently, lot more quicker, much better. And it's, unlike a human being in some sense, and we call this software, say, software robots, they don't sleep, they don't eat, they don't take a break, and they don't get tired. So once you teach them, they continue to do the same work exactly, accurately every time. So the experience of the person who's receiving it is going to be much better. So for example, let me give you an example. In current COVID times, the need for insurance claims has gone up. The hospitals have a lot of load and have had a lot of load, right? Now, if I take even my own experience, I go to any hospital, my time to meet the doctor and get attention is actually a fraction of time it takes me to register, get documentation done, if I'm going to be hospitalized, get my paperwork done, paid, connect with my insurance provider, all of that. Now, all of that can be taken care of. And we have had, many examples where people have used automation to take care of that and therefore maximize patient time with the doctor, which is great for patient. They don't have to wait. They are safe. They don't catch infection while waiting. And it utilizes time of the doctors and healthcare service providers much better because they are also waiting. Their time is also not well utilized. So that's one scenario. Second scenario, you look at somebody does a health claim. Now, when you are making health claim, you obviously in an urgency and you want it immediately answered. In a COVID-like scenario, when people are not there, and the best case scenario is that people use a chatbot in the front, but chatbot really provides you some structured answer based on their query. But when you put RPA or automation at the connected with that, it will actually go into the your database. It will look at what's your policy say, do your policy numbers match, what is your limit, which diseases are covered, which are not covered, tally them and come back and say yes, this claim can be cleared. Now it can technically go to the bank, trigger payment, and while you are still on the chat, it can put money in your bank. Now, humanly, you may say, everything up to 10,000 rupees pay balance sent to a human to verify. Or if your level of confidence is less than 95%, you must check with somebody. It can actually send that information to you and say, Dr. Prashant, can you have a look at it? If you say, okay, good to go, it will go. So look at these two scenarios. That's how it is going to change. So putting more time in the hands of the doctors, making life of operational staff in the hospital much easier, much better experience for the patient, And in general, making these things available 24/7. You don't have to do it in hospital hours. You could do it, anytime, because this is 24/7. Similarly, I extended to a government side, and we did a number of things during last COVID crisis. People were wanting to collate quarantine data and track people, but there was nobody in offices. So we deployed with a number of state governments solution to track data across multiple portals, because typically it was village level or tehsil level will input data that will get collated at district level, come to state level, then come to national level, and all of that data can be automated. It can then much quicker rather than doing manually. And data is disparate. Somebody is doing an Excel sheet, somebody is doing in an ERP system, somebody is doing somewhere else. So in a typical scenario, a human will read across different things and bring together. In this case, a bot can do. Similarly, there was this thing about issuing e-curfew passes. So we did that in one of the metros with a consulting partner. Devise a solution where people put in their request, it comes to a central place, the bot processes it, makes the curfew pass, goes back to them. So I'm saying, as you start applying for real cases, that's how it is changing the way we work, the way we live, and making lives easier for everyone. I hope that answers your question.
How have you seen businesses respond to automation? Are they open to it in India, or there is resistance? Is it decreasing? What has been your experience with that?
It's very interesting. I think because automation normally has come along with AI. They work very well, and automation actually is a great way to implement AI as a concept. So it has seen very high interest. It always intrigues everyone when you say automation, AI, and machine learning. Everyone wants to know what is it. So interest is very high, and the early cycle has been on the back of enthusiasts in the organizations. But this technology also is actually very easy to use. Unlike the software of earlier era, it doesn't require that complex type of programming. This is leading to what is being called a citizen developer movement, where like you don't have to build a complete plant in every house to generate electricity. It's a plug and play. So the barriers are very low. So anybody can do it. In fact, we have, you can download a community edition, and within that we have something called Studio X, which requires no knowledge of programming. Your basic things you can drag and drop and do. So something like that, on the back of few enthusiast organizations started trying. They saw great results, and then it has expanded. Then we had unprecedented crisis in COVID, when suddenly everyone wanted to figure out how can I run my business without manual intervention. That has boosted adoption in a significant way. And very traditional businesses like companies making edible oil, companies making sleeping mattresses, companies making consumer goods, they are all wanting to understand how can we keep our business going and continuity without people being in the office. So this has actually accelerated the adoption. So enthusiasm, interest is very high. And in fact, how to use this technology, our customers are figuring that out faster than even us. They come back with saying, oh, we can use like this, and then they share with others. So it's a very community and democratic, type of movement it has become.
Good to know that. So, what can we expect in terms of offerings from UiPath for making automation kind of imperative in future plans for every sector, including healthcare?
Yeah. So, UiPath is an interesting company. It was started by a developer with another 8 or 9, developers out of a small room in Romania, Bucharest. He was working, our founder, Daniel Dines, he was working for Microsoft in US, and then he wanted to build something, new. And so they worked almost 10 years out of a room trying to find something, what will change things. And at the end, almost at the end of 10 years, they had their eureka moment where they solved a business problem actually for a customer out of Chennai, India. That helped bring this whole offering together, right? And then it hasn't sort of looked back, and it has evolved quite fast from becoming from a RPA solution to a complete platform, where today you have technology to even discover in your business or in your organization where should you deploy automation, whether at a task level, which can be like in your department. You might say, I'm running HR department, I want to automate payroll, right? Or I'm in marketing, I want to automate invoice generation or invoice payment, right? And then it is becoming cross departments, where one department to another. Then it is becoming company wide, and then between companies. So one company robots are generating invoices, other company robots are assessing them and releasing payments. So so that's how it's going. If you look at industries which have large amount of processes, which are very regulated, which have a lot of knowledge workers, which handle large amounts of data and have complexity, they have been the early adopters. So healthcare, pharma, insurance, banking, financial services, education, government, and then some processes across businesses like finance and accounting, payroll management, those kind of are working across. So I hope that gives you answer. Like in healthcare, I said pharmaceutical companies, manufacturing, production planning, logistics, store management, keeping track of different lots, tallying data, GST reconciliation, and so on and so forth. In hospitals, patient coming in, the whole process of patient, and what's the right word for it? When patient come and registers, managing their data inside the hospital, managing operations of your allocation of beds to different pieces of that, and then even in healthcare, you have payroll management, you have finance and accounting, billing management, and so on and so forth. Then engagement with all the other parties, which is insurance companies, different types of health service providers, health equipment providers, all of those areas. It's it's you can today see the is happening very very well.
And you're seeing this getting deployed even in the government sector in India, and how has
Yes,
that
yes, yes,
been?
yes. Because if you look at it, who deals with most amount of data?
The
Government.
government. Yeah.
And and kudos to the government. Last decade or 2 decades, we've seen so much of digitization, which has made everyone's lives simpler, right? And traditionally, if you had to go to office, you will go 9 to 5, but this is the same time you work. Now when you automate, it's 24/7, and and you can get any service at any point of time. So government also, across departments, you are seeing a lot of adoption. We did actually a lot of as a part of our contribution work with various government bodies during COVID. They saw the benefit that is growing this, and it's happening across the world. I mean, US very high adoption, Europe very high adoption, from NASA to pension companies and pension departments to employee, benefits management, a lot of adoption.
So one of the reasons why automation is resisted by a few is because they look at it as a threat for replacing humans at the workplace. How would you dispel this notion?
I think, yeah, I mean, I hear that as well, but although I think it's beginning to wane somewhat. See, any new thing comes always creates some amount of apprehension, both positive as well as otherwise. You can look at, it has always happened when railways came, or even the wheel was invented, people had apprehension. But did people stop going from one place to another? I mean, you see how versus going maybe within their village or village to next village. Today, you can traverse the whole world, because of the availability of transportation. Similarly, electricity, computers, when computers came, there was a lot of resistance that it will make, need for tellers go away, right? But if you look at it, what has happened to that industry? Today what a bank does is so much more than what happened before. So my belief is that all the technologies, and now it's the turn of automation technology, is to release human time share of mind, creativity, and ingenuity to think, apply to see where humanity can go next. It will open new routes for progress, right? Yes, it is not going to take away jobs. It will change the structure of what you do in a job. I saw a last study, I'm forgetting, I think it was a McKinsey study, possibly. It said only 5% of the jobs globally, if at all, could be considered fully automatable. So, in a typical job, my job, what I do today is I was supposed to generate a lot of reports. So, I have a robot generating reports. I would earlier look at that report, once in 15 days. I will look at it every alternate day because all I have to do is trigger a robot. In about 10 minutes, report is done, which used to take me like an hour or 2 hours. Right. Now, what do I do? It's not taken my job away. I am able to spend that time analyzing that data, talking to people, and say, what do I do with it? We've seen similar thing in government. It's not taking jobs away. It's releasing because if you look at any government department, so many of the claims and applications are pending. It is now allowing them to service those people in the moment, and therefore think, how to spend more time. If you think of an average, very normal call center, if you want to change your, say, travel ticket, or you want to have any kind of request for insurance or anything else, you call them. You go through many steps, then you reach somebody, and then you say, I'm so and so. Typical call takes 15-20 minutes, right? Other than, sometimes waiting. Why are you waiting? Because that person is looking at data across multiple systems. He's looking at a company ERP. He or she is looking at what is your activity on social, what did you do on your website, and so on and so forth. What is your past history? If you have a robot taking care of that, the moment you come into them, you get recognized. They will trigger a bot which will collect all data and bring on their screen. What happens? They are able to talk to you human to human and solve your problem in first go in most cases. So that's the kind of change that happens. I'll give you two examples. Uh, During one of the airlines, I can't name them, when COVID hit, travel industry was hit very badly. So they used to get say 5,000 cancellations in a month. When COVID hit, they started getting 20,000 a week, and there was nobody in office because COVID crisis, people were at home. They deployed bots. It's very straightforward, right? Look at the data, compare across systems, process the request. They were able to process all backlog in a week's time and then keep track always, right? Similarly, banks did moratorium during, but moratorium as per regulation, you have to check with each person. Now, where is time for people to call, send emails, follow, track? They automated it, and it worked, because of which people got, in things in time when they most needed it. So those are different types of, situations. See, what is happening is the future is not one versus the other in my mind. Future is humans and robots together, where they will augment humans. You think of robot as a assistant which is handy, which is like on your beck and call and on your command will do all the mundane work that bogs you down, that takes effort, that can be saved, and keep you available for other things, to think, to talk to people, to sort out things, and so on and so forth. So that's where I think it is going to go. Look, I don't, and more and more artificial intelligence is coming in, and I think human ingenuity, creativity, and intelligence is not going to get caught up by artificial intelligence or any type of intelligence for a long, long time. But human intelligence, we haven't discovered even a small fraction of it. As you release time and energy, it is going to take us forward, humanity forward, and drive the next level of growth. That's where many times a lot of our notions are formed on science fiction and movies, and where are us against the bots and so on. But I don't think future is going to go there. It's time for us to work together and befriend. And as with time, as people see the benefit, they are going to, and they're beginning to change what they do, how they think. I mean, today we have programs where young school kids, by way of games, are learning to build their own bots. And they will grow in a very different mindset. You know, they will, grow with a very different way of thinking and working alongside leveraging those, which means we will have better work-life balance, healthier lives, more time for personal pursuits, and more efficiency. World is aging, right? You've seen so many populations, so many nationalities. Number of young people is reducing. India, we are fortunate. How is work is not reducing? In fact, to take care of aging population itself is a huge amount of work. So they need automation. So we see countries which are aging like Japan, significant adoption of automation, very very fast. We are seeing that in Europe, right? So I think this is a I would say future direction of development, that we will all benefit from.
Thanks for that. So this was a very enriching conversation, and I think we all leave this forum with doubts dispelled and fears allayed. And to the viewers, I keep looking forward to your views, likes, comments, and subscription to the channel. It means the world to me. And thanks again, Rajesh, for doing this. And to everyone, stay inspired, stay safe.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Thank you for having me. And again, I'm happy to answer any follow-up questions. I'm reachable on, social media, LinkedIn, Twitter. I'm passionate about this. So I'm very happy to answer any questions you may have now or later. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.